Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishnah's Bava Kamma, Parak Base, Chapter 2, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Adam muad la'olam. A person is always muad. Now, as we've been saying, in the previous Mishnah, we had a list of 5 muadin, 5 damagers that are considered muad, meaning they have to pay full damages. And the last one on the list was Adam hamazik, a person who damages. So the Mishnah tells us, elaborates on this, Adam muad la'olam. A person is always muad. He always must pay full for the damages that he does. Bein sheigeg, bein mezid. Whether he damages it intentionally or unintentionally. Bein ar uvein yashin. Whether awake or asleep. Even if he damages while he is asleep, he is liable and to pay full damages for that. So again, that's unintentional. Nonetheless, he is going to be exempt. He's going to be liable. He's going to be chayiv for full damages. So, for instance, sima es ein chaverai, if he somehow or another blinded someone else's eye, v'shiber es hakelim, or he broke someone else's vessels, all done accidentally, mishalim nezek shalem, you pay full damages. So now let's go through a couple of things here. So the Mishnah said a person is always muad, he is liable to pay full damages. That means he is always, it's very natural for him to do all these kinds of damages, and right away he's fully responsible, whether he's awake or he is asleep. So they bring down here from the Bartanura, or actually, Bartanura does bring this down. A person is responsible for what he does even in his sleep. For example, if someone goes to sleep next to some vessels and he breaks them as he moves in his sleep, he must pay for the damage. Since he should have realized before he went to sleep that he might hit the vessels, he is liable for breaking them. However, if the vessels were placed next to him after he was already asleep, he didn't even know they were there to begin with, then he is exempt from payment because there is no way he could have known that the damage would occur. Even a person is not liable for damage that he could not possibly have avoided. That means if it's called an eines, it's something beyond his control, he's not going to be liable for that. So that's the first thing. So when the Mishnah says that he's going to be liable, again, whether it's intentional, unintentional, awake or asleep, these are all situations, again, where they don't fall under the category of eines, under the category of something beyond his control. But if it's beyond his control, then even again, if it's unintentional, even if he's asleep, he is going to be liable. But again, as we said, when he's asleep, it's all situations where it's something that he should have been aware, that he could have been aware to avoid, and he should have avoided. That's his liability. He always has to make sure to avoid damages, unless it's beyond his control. Now, the next part is the following. That the Mishnah at the end, when it gave us 2 accidental examples, it gave us an example of where a man damages another person, like he blinds another person's eye, or the other example was he broke someone else's utensils accidentally. There is a very important, message in this, in the fact that the Mishnah brings these 2 cases together, and states that in both cases you pay for full damages. And the point of that is like this: we shall learn that when one person injures another, when a person injures another person, they must make 5 payments. There are 5 payments to make when a person damages another person. He pays for the actual damage to the victim, which is evaluated by the loss of his value or to be sold as a slave, his pain, medical costs, lost wages, and shame. We will learn all about that later on. Our Mishnah, however, mentions blinding an eye together with breaking a vessel, which implies that one who blinds an eye pays only for the actual damage, as is the law with breaking a vessel. We bring them both together. We say you pay nezek shalem, and from the fact of bringing them together, that whenever we have that in a Mishnah, or very often we have that in a Mishnah. When you bring 2 cases together, it's meant to say that they are going to be similar. And the question really is, well, the Mishnah says you pay nezek shalem, you pay full damages. But in the case of blinding his eye, why aren't you paying anything else? What happened to the 4 other things that you pay? But the fact that the Mishnah mentions blinding an eye together with breaking a vessel, which implies that one who blinds an eye pays only for the actual damage, as is the law with breaking a vessel. This is because the Mishnah refers to one who blinded an eye by accident. And the rule in cases of accidental injury is that the damager pays only for the actual damage and not for any of the other four losses. So the point in our Mishnah is talking about when he blinded his eye, he broke the kalim, you pay nezek shalem. The novelty about that is it's part of the example of novelty of the Mishnah, that even if you're unintentional and you damage it, you're liable to pay. But the fact that we brought these two cases together is really bringing out another point, which is that when you blind another person's eye, although it's a man damaging another man, since it's accidental, then you only pay for damages and not for the other four payments that a person who damaged another person has to pay. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.